All right. I think, Malcolm, we can get started. It's time now, right?
Yeah. So Rohit, I think let's give ourselves about 2 more minutes. I still see a lot of people are joining. Maybe,
yes.
Can we just join? Yeah. Thank you.
Sure.
2 minutes. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right, Rohit, maybe we give yourself another 1 more minutes. We are still seeing a lot of people coming. Just 1 more minute. For those of you who have joined earlier, on the chat box itself, there is a link about IBM RPAs with NerdPine. You can actually click that to take a look from there, get some information while we're still waiting for the rest to join. Rohit, we count down another 40 seconds to go.
Okay. Yes, Malcolm. Yeah.
Right, Rohit, I think we are good to go. You see a good attending rate here. So maybe, Rohit, will it be good that you can do the recording?
Yes. Yes.
Right, over to you.
Yeah. I think we can get started, Malcolm. Yeah. So good morning, good afternoon to everyone who's joined this session today. I see a lot of participants joining from India, Singapore, Thailand, and some people from Africa as well. Welcome you all to this wonderful session on IBM Hyperautomation. Thank you so much for joining. And I'll be your speaker and host for the session today. My name is Rohit. And so I hope everyone is doing safe and during this pandemic times. So, and I still see more people joining, but firstly, let me thank you all who have joined a little early. Thanks for being patient, but let us wait for some more people to join, but let's get started here. So basically the agenda for today is to kind of help you understand the value proposition of automation. So as you see today, there's a lot of buzz around automation and digitalization today in these times, and more efficient, more because of the COVID. Every organization is trying to be more getting more efficient, automate their processes. So on that note, we have tried to compile an event, a session like this, along with IBM, to offer you an insightful session on hyperautomation and RPA. So today we'll be talking about the key aspects to automate your businesses, how to stay efficient and increase your productivity of your employees. So the agenda for today's session would be we'll introduce about the company NerdPine, and then we would have a very beautiful presentation and packed with demos on Cloud Pak for automation. We have a session on RPA and process mining. And we'll also get into some use cases that are relevant to your business, where exactly you can automate and make sure you take advantage of RPA. And towards the end, we will also look at a roundtable discussion where we will explore the various scenarios or processes that are suitable for your organization to implement RPA. And towards the end, we also have a demo, which would be an RPA. And we will also be showcasing a free surprise towards end of the session that would be helpful for all the participants. So let me get started there. Before that, few things here to all the participants. So throughout the session, if you have any questions, feel free to drop on the Q&A or the chat box. You see a question and answer and chat box there. So feel free to drop your questions on anything that you have with regards to the session, and we'll be happy to answer them towards the end of the call. All right, so let's get started. And before that, let me introduce the speakers here. Today we have our guest speakers from IBM. Let me start with Anthai. Anthai, is our DBA executive, IBM DBA executive for entire Asia Pacific region. And we also have Malcolm Ong. Malcolm is the IBM sales leader for automation for APAC. And we also have a technical counterpart from IBM, who is Ashwani. He handles the RPA and process mining space. And myself, I'm Rohit. I handle the sales and business development at NerdPine. So that's all we have about the speakers. So let's talk about our company introduction. So NerdPine is an IBM partner. We've been an IBM partner for several years now, and we are an IT services and a consulting company based in Oregon, USA. We also have our offices in India, UK, and UAE. So collectively, we have close to 100 plus employees working in the automation space. And we have helped a lot of customers in the digital business automation space, especially it could be your process reengineering, it could be a business process management, robotic process automation, or if you have to deal with your content management processes. So we have handled that. And our expertise is in terms of designing custom software solutions that suit the customer's needs. So today, as you see, there's a lot of customer demands, and also you have a lot of challenges coming up. So we have a unique proposition where we bring in our enterprise design thinking and also our years of experience in handling various customer scenarios to build custom software solutions. So that's one thing. And let me go to the next slide. So when it comes to the kind of services that we offer, we categorize our services into 4 pillars. So primarily, it's all about process today. So we have solutions that are crafted for customers across various verticals. It could be healthcare, retail, banking, and so on and so forth. So BPM is one area that we've been working with for a long time. And today you see an additional advantage of bringing an extra layer of automation, which is robotic process automation. And by complementing the features of AI and ML, and also utilizing data to provide better insights for the businesses. So we have had this unique value proposition of utilizing IBM's RPA and hyperautomation platform to provide customer experiences using chatbots, where you have your customers, access or have availability to your services at a much faster and easy way, right? And so we also have solutions that are catering to on-prem and cloud, where we complement the Docker containerization aspects as well. So that's all we have. So I will pass the cue to Anthai. To talk about the cloud automation space. Yes, Anthai.
Thank you, Rohit. And allow me to share my screen. Sure. Can you see my screen, everybody?
Yes, Antai, we can see that.
Yes, Antai.
Okay, thank you then. So indeed, I am very pleased and privileged to be with NerdPine for more than 10 years now, right? We have done probably around 30 plus projects throughout the region, a lot in the early days of workflow content, and in the last 4 or 5 years on RPA, and now something new on process mining as well. But then having said that though, we find that a lot of our customers today, having invested on our technology, or they are new, they all have an increasing desire to try to achieve 10 years of digitization, if possible, within 1 year. And this is more driven by the lack of skilled labor today that can be on site to do the job. Most of the time, this is an issue in the COVID year. And even as we now start to open up, people are looking at how, based on my existing infrastructures and systems that I have in place, can I add point automation to augment gaps that I have in my operation today and hyper automate, right? So this is the kind of executive feedback that we have been hearing over the last 3-4 years now. And I think we have all this capability today that we are happy to demonstrate to you. So essentially for our customers, may it be having an ERP system, core banking, core insurance system, some imaging system, payment gateway, etc., etc. Today, this race to hyper-automate and the race to have better and increasingly higher productivity is a constant race for survival. People are looking at improving cycle time, using more AI and machine learning to reduce manual labor, including RPA, and reducing the need for manual intervention if they can with as much as possible digitization and straight through. So here, for multiple customers that we see across many industries, they use a combination of capabilities that are not only on-prem, but also on any cloud platform of your choice, and they augment the gaps in between their requirement with one end-to-end SOA layer of workflow that acts as a super glue to connect people, document, and systems together, having capture as well as RPA to automate their tasks. So with all these capability put under one umbrella or one box, today IBM is in a unique opportunity to address the market, whereby our customers can, with one single part number, experiment and use any of those entitlements that I just mentioned. They can scale up and scale down their workflow for content for rules for RPA, vice versa, right? So they don't have to worry that I buy extra for workflow and I do not know what to do with it when I need more for rules engine, for example, right? So within a cloud pack family that you can deploy both on-prem and on any cloud providers of your choice, given free OCP licenses that we embed, you have peace of mind how you want to deploy, where you want to deploy, and when you want to deploy in your journey to cloud. So today, just to abbreviate key elements, people are working and side by side with digital robots, and they are looking at having business applications that can compose very quickly. And behind the scene, all these platforms that you independently assemble together, you want to have all the events of past transactions put into a data lake automatically and curated with AI and machine learning so that you can improve your operation versus someone that has invested on similar platform but without AI over the last few years. So this gives a lot of additional value to leapfrog competition, or as well as continuously modernizing your current platform. At AC level, I have been working on this field for close to 23, 24 years. We literally have hundreds or more than several hundreds of customers in every sector, whether it's government, banking, and insurance. And then in the last few years, we see a lot more because of RPA in the retail, commercial, industrial sector as well. And these are highly repeatable applications that we see in our common platform of choice. So this kind of lends a lot of credential to our business partner when they deliver a project and they industrialize it and they can repeat it many, many times. The technology that we have spanned from workflow, content, all the way to RPA and process mining. Some of them are still market leaders after 30 years of leadership. Some segment of the technology like RPA is probably like 5 years old, and then maybe process mining, maybe 3 years old, right? So all this continuum of technologies that we keep adding into our capability, we ensure that we are at the forefront of the technology and against market leaders despite 30 years, 20 years, 10 years, 5 years, or 3 years. You can see this in our Forrester and Gartner chart from a digital process automation view, a content management view, decision engine views that is more than 25 years now. And because we embed and infuse AI into all these generations of products that you see, every of these capabilities now is infused with AI and prefabricated. So even on the ranking of AI and thought leadership, we have got undisputed leadership over the last 3 years. More details of the ranking, if you're interested, you can get this session details from us. You can see from a capture perspective, a rules perspective, a process perspective, and a content perspective. A recent survey in November on which are the most impactful automation platforms that Fortune 1000 companies have been using, you will see that in this survey, IBM ranked #1 at 53%. Not many players out there in the market today have end-to-end capability that you can take out of the box in one single platform, right? And this is where, and the reason why you don't want to mix and match multiple technologies and then find incompatibility over time or support issues because of the weakest link. In IBM, everything is IBM owned and IBMs are supported. And to ensure that our customers and partners are always at the leading edge of the technology, we make a lot of our virtual training, batches, and certification free of charge. They are available with a lot of certification badges that our developer base has been posting on their LinkedIn for the last 36 months already. So skill set is something that you can easily find, easily learn, and service online on demand, right? Depending on your time to learn. So that is in a kind of a summary, the capabilities that we have put under one umbrella called CloudPack, where if you are moving to the cloud, we give you free OpenShift licenses to run on any cloud. And if you're interested in low-code platforms, there are also new capabilities for low-code development in the CloudPack that you, in the past, on a traditional platform, standalone, on-prem, you don't have this additional low-code development to do, okay? So a little bit quick on the details that you will see. You will see a lot of details coming on process mining, but we mine data coming from ERP system, Salesforce.com, and packages that you see. And we take the events log out to see whether there are areas to further automate with RPA or workflow or capture or rules. So this is one capability that we do very well. We also help people to document their processes as is, blueprint it, and then be able to share across multiple departments by business user, not using IT. And this can be a SaaS offering if you prefer. And this allows you to have SOP handbook that you create on demand. You can import visual diagrams to create more artifacts, and it comes with hundreds of AQPC templates as well. And then today you will have spent a lot of time to look at how you can use RPA, why IBM RPA is unique because of cost ownership that is the lowest in the market, because of unique capabilities that you can't find out there in the market. Those will be explained by my colleague later. And not last but not least also, every of these platforms, they have their own dashboard, but we can have an integrated dashboard of all these capabilities by pumping a curated warehouse powered by Kibana. And this is made available. Some of the licenses for Kibana and also the operation dashboard is bundled free in the product. Of course, if you scale to an production quality platform, you may have to add a few more incremental capacity to support that. But imagine creating all kinds of dashboard without any programming at all. It's basically widget-based, configure the data, and you will have the insight coming in with all kinds of graphs that you will see in the environment. And then we have very advanced capability that is more powerful than plain OCR that you will find. And this is about extracting, classifying, capturing unstructured and structured text with a lot of fidelity, including cursive handwriting if you need to. And this allows you to have people not to flip pages and keep a more paperless office or paperless office, okay? And this helps to digitize further to help you save the environment with less trees and less paper printing, but also to move the data between people faster. Workflow is that mechanism, the orchestrator that we can then connect between system to system. We have a BPL engine that does that. We have a human workflow engine that does it with human to human. And then we have also case management that does a lot of document to human system. All three in one, integrated in one workflow environment, right? Whether you do it on-prem or you do it on any cloud providers of your choice, supporting Dockers and containers as well. And decision making, in case you want to decouple decision making, instead of hard coding into scripts, you can put them into a single platform. They could be put into tables or put into a graphical format of choice. And this allows you to have decision management that can be changed by business user. Then, of course, to make sure that you have a clean environment, data has to be protected, secured, redacted with privacy. So all the content management that you ingest, you can put them into a content repository across multiple enterprise or multiple departments. So IBM Content Repository powered by FileNet supports fine-grained granularity and collaboration. So in one view, if you were to look at, why IBM workflow, for example, all these technical capabilities that you see here, and interoperability between 40 different ECM software, ability to talk to all the major RPA vendors out there in the market without having to build the connectors. All this is out of the box in one single workflow product, which you can buy standalone or you can buy within the Cloudpack family. And the same thing that you will see when you look at the content management, for example, we have the same capability mirrored onto the content part for you to integrate with many other prefabricated content repositories of your choice, multiple repositories if you want. So you can see that when it comes to scale and optimal performance, some of the top 10 banks, insurance companies, telcos around the world has been using our technology for many years, right? And we are talking about high compression to save storage costs and high security to prevent vulnerabilities, hackers, and so on and so forth. Just in the context of India, where I make the assumption that many of you may come from India, some of our existing customer base, just a sample set, we actually cannot fill out in even 3 screens, okay? And many of these implementations that we have, customers are happy that they are referenceable customers. Okay, so this gives just some of the representation across multiple industries. And of course, happy customer, our partners are so happy. They write to the note to our partners, and you can see all happy faces because of that. So with that, let me summarize, okay? And why IBM? We indeed have the best product in the market, ranked by Gartner. The last ranking is 2019. They don't have 2020 anymore. That is the last so-called process automation ranking. Our product has been there for 30 years, 20 years, 10 years with complete strong roadmap stability. Nobody is big enough financially to acquire IBM, we think, okay? And we have very well proven local references and case study testimonial, and they are largely, I would say, 95% delivered through our business partner. And together with IBM and business partner, we have to do a lot of workshops, assessment, health checks if you want to, and architectural review, right? And if you're looking at projects here in India, the people are here physically. The lab team is here, the service team is here, the hotline team is here, the sellers are here, the technical managers are here, the partners are all over multiple cities in India, right? So they know the method of delivering this, both agile or SDLC or combination of both, whichever is your preference, and even CI/CD method if you prefer, right? So that totally help you lower 2 factors, lower the risk and lower the cost of delivery. So with that, I thank you, and I now pass over to the next speaker to cover the topic itself. Thank you and have a good day.
Thank you, Antai.
Thanks, Antai. So I think Ashwani, will have the next session, next slides on process mining. Yeah.
Again, before Ashwani to start kick off. So for those of you in the call right now, on the Zoom, there's a chat box. We have actually attached a couple of links that help you if you're keen to understand how RPA or automations help in the insurance, the retails, or even in the healthcare. You actually can click on the link on the chat box over there. And if you have any questions, please feel free to drop your questions, and our team will be happy to help you over here. Right, over to you, Ashwani.
Yeah, so hello everyone. We will talk about the process mining, the AI aspect and the RPA aspect of our technology today in this session. So process mining is basically a concept wherein we get some data from the via the data mining or doing the ETL exercises like refining the data and then putting it into the process tools. So when we say process tools, we have a process tool called IBM Process Mining, wherein we do multiple activities. For example, we do discovery of the current processes, like how they are behaving, what are their current flow of events, whether they are taking the right path. Then we carry out some analytics by putting up the right KPIs, and then we create a digital twin of the organization. So how it is being done? Uh, so if you talk about the process journey, the very first step is you talk to people, like what is your process, what all the activities you do. Then he give you some inputs, you noted down those inputs and create some process flow of it. Okay, it is not necessary to be a business process management application. It could be a ERP application, it could be a Oracle, it could be a Infor, it could be a Salesforce, it could be anything. Because you recorded the process on the basis of people's input, you may not be aware that there could be certain deviations. But when we have the data after running those processes for say 6 months or a year or so, we get to know that this data is giving us a different story. Using the data analytics tools, you cannot actually get into the root cause as why this process is changing or why the deadlock is happening in my process. You don't get to know. You only get to know the reports. You only get to see the charts. But why it is happening, where it is happening, and what is the corrective action I can take in order to resolve this issue, you cannot do so. So this actually is being done via the process mining techniques across the globe. Moving further, let me explain you. I just explained you that we get to know the process from people, create it, and then deliver it. But the scene over here in process mining is different. It is a concept between data mining and process modeling, wherein we get the data via the event logs or the RDBMS tables, and then we place this into a model. Once the model is visible to us, we can see the anomalies in the model. We can do harmonization of the data. We can also see that how we can improvise this particular process. So all those things we can do. Now, in order to explain it in a very layman term, the process mining, I will tell you a story. So he's the guy named Matthew Maury, and he was in US Navy. What happened is that he was stationed at one of the US Naval Observatory, where a lot of logbooks are there. So these logbooks are basically the data points which they collect when they travel from one place to another, like what is the wind speed, what is the current, which direction, the positions, all those things. So they were about to destroy those logbooks, but this guy said, let me study all these logbooks and create something out of it. So what he analyzed various paths, and after that he understood that there should be a right path or optimal path for the entire journey. So somebody traveled in 1848 and from Baltimore to Rio de Janeiro, and he saved 1 month time. So this is the first instance of such kind of an activity where we regenerate the process flow basis on the data points we have rather than subjective inputs of people. So another example which I wanted to take over here is you can see some table over here. This is a table where I am doing some activities like A, B, C, D, E, the activities which I am doing as part of my order processing. And these are the different steps. Let me just, yes, now I can see it. So these are the different cases which are happening. So assume you have millions of cases which are getting processed day in, day out in your organization, right? So when we process those cases, we see the table like this. Multiple cases are being processed, activities A, B, C, D, E. But when you see it from a different perspective, from case one perspective, it will go from A to E in a different path. But you see it when you see it from case B perspective, it goes through a different flow. Likewise, for case 3, it will go through a different flow. So I mean to say that if you have millions of cases, you will see a lot of variations. In reality, you know that, okay, this is a case which will go from A to E in a sequential flow or a predefined flow, but in reality, it is not happening. So when we look at the picture from a process perspective, we see a very complex nature of process. So there is a loop back at activity D, which is happening. So when we combine all these processes or process instances, we get to know that there are some anomalies in my process, which I have already designed. So process mining is about providing you a complete view as how you can improvise your current process. So the journey talks about you define your KPIs, you define what all actions you wanted to record, and then after you will get some sort of a result. So the result is in the form of model, which we provide as part of process mining. Once we have the model, we can see how much robotic process automation you can do, how many decision points you can touch base, what is the next refined version of my process, which I can implement back to my system. So those things we carry out as part of the process mining journey. We get to see the data from different systems. So it is ERP, CRM, HR, or any BPM system. We can get the data via the ETL activity. Once we have the data, we can map it to the relevant fields or relevant KPIs, and after that, we visualize it. These are the different activities which you get to know via process mining. You can see which all activities are happening most frequently, whether this process is conforming to my BPM diagram or my process flow, how much I am spending time on each activity, which is the most rework activity, what is the cost involved in my activities. All those things you can get to know, and multiple analyst charts over here, like what kind of root cause analysis is there, what is the productivity my people are performing in my process. All those things you can get to know in the process mining. As an outcome, what you get to know is the BPM chart, the refined BPM. You will get to know the decisions. You will get to know the cost analysis. You will get to know how many bots you should be actually applying in your entire process in order to get the desired efficiency. In addition to that, in IBM platform, we not only talk about process mining. Within the process mining itself, we also carry out task mining activities. So task mining is basically when you carry out a process, there are different steps. For example, when you place an order, there is some person who used to check the data from the inventory. There is some person who is responsible for the payments or the invoices. So likewise, in a process, there are many actors, and those actors are carrying out different tasks. So whether they are efficiently performing those tasks, we record those activities for that particular user. For example, if I am performing some payment, how many so my user interactions with respect to my screen in SAP or any ERP will be recorded. I will get to know that how many clicks I have made, whether I have opened calculator for some calculation or I opened some Excel sheet in order to park some values. So those things we carry out. So in task mining itself, we use multiple technologies like OCR, task recording, all those things we carry out in task mining. And afterwards, the process mining, the entire platform, as Anthai initially said, it's a complete end-to-end platform. So the process mining itself, you will see a lot of process mining players in the market, but our product is readily deployed on containerized architecture. And this containerized architecture is based on Red Hat OpenShift, and it is available as part of the entire package. So when you have to deploy, you pull up an image from the container, from the image registry, and use the operator to manage the entire, release management of that particular image in your containerized deployment. So those things we have as part of our tooling. Little bit I wanted to touch down over here is with respect to integration to SAP. So many of you might be using SAP in your organization. So SAP, we have readily available ABAP scripts which we can run at the SAP end, and we can pull the data into a data fabric or any ETL tooling. And afterwards, when we put the data into the staging area, we can push it as an event log. So once we have this entire flow, I mean, the first two activities, the third activity will actually produce a model like how your process is behaving. It could be a P2P process, it could be a in payment process, it could be like post to finance kind of process. Those things we can do. Similar to that, we also have this kind of an integration with the Oracle ERP, wherein you can use IBM Data Fabric or the ETL tools like Talent or any other tool in order to pull the values. And when you have the values, we can map the right data into the process mining. So those things we can do as part of process mining. I will also showcase after this, after a few more slides, a demonstration about process mining. Then once we have the outcome from the process mining, like what kind of bots we can do. So it is actually interlinked. You can independently choose to have RPA deployed, or you can, do a process journey and see whether RPA is required into your processes, how many RPA bots you would need into your processes. So there are multiple kind of RPA bots we have as part of our platform. We have the RDA, the remote desktop assistants, we have the unattended bots, and we also have chatbots. So there are multiple use cases with respect to RPA bots we can do. Like when you are working in a Microsoft Office productivity environments like a Microsoft Office, or you are interacting with the emails of customers, or you wanted to communicate over a social network, or you wanted to do some marketing campaign, you wanted to do collate the information of sales. For example, every day you get a dealer input. Like a lot of in a supply chain, we used to get daily reports, how you collate those daily reports. So those things we can achieve via bots. It is a very easy to use interface, which has more than 600 commands. You can see on the left hand side, these are the different commands. You don't need a very specific programming skills in order to do it. It is more like a script, which we call, and this entire studio environment will help you to deliver your bots as per the requirements. Then once we have these bots, we can also use them for OCR activities. For example, if you have I believe that most of the people have some sort of procurement cycle. So in procurement cycle, our vendors raise invoices to us. So what kind of invoices they are raising, you wanted to automate that activity, or you don't want any manual data entry. So those things we can do via RPA bots. Likewise, we also have these chatbots. In chatbots, you can pass on the parameterized queries. You can talk to different systems, social networking kind of systems. Plus, you can actually improve your customer experience. So for example, if a customer is calling you up, it is always better to have a bot on your website, and then that bot will actually talk to your customer to filter out his options so that he can reach to the right information within your organization. In addition to that, we also have multiple capabilities. This is from a technical perspective. We employ multiple OCR engines within our RPA bots. So these are for unlimited usage, like Abby we use as part of our OCR technology. Then we also use some other things. For example, it is a end-to-end interlink. So in a BPM system of ours, you can actually call up the RPA bots and design your process in a more robotic way. So many things you can do as part of RPA. Then we have dashboard and reports. Like for people who are sitting at a CXO level, they can see the complete reports, like what all things are happening. Or somebody who is an operational manager, he can also see that what kind of activities which are being performed by my bots. So many things you can do. One of the key differentiator we have is a concurrent execution. So many of the bot companies, they say they can deploy one bot on one computer. But over here, we have a different technology in use. And what we can do on single machine, you can deploy multiple bots in concurrency. So that will eventually save your resource cost in terms of your hardware, plus in terms of your manageability. So many things we can achieve by the intelligent workload management. We provide horizontal and vertical scalability. So not only it from the product perspective, you can achieve scalability, but from the platform perspective also, like we have deployed it on an operator or in a Kubernetes cluster, so we can manage its scalability at that level as well. It's available in various languages. Over here, you can see multiple languages are there. Then this is a high-level architecture. We have something called Studio, where we develop things. In the vault, you can store your keys, for example, your passwords and all. Then there is a bot agent which is going to be delivered on those machines where this activity is actually happening. Then we have the repository where we save all the scripts, to do the scheduling and carry out other activities, okay, in the control center. So there are two parts of it. It's high-level architecture for you. The deployment options we have as part of RPA is multiple. I mean, you can deploy traditionally like the way you used to deploy any of your application. Then you can deploy on a container as a Red Hat OpenShift via operator. And we also provide you as a SaaS service. It's available via various locations across the globe. Multiple data centers are there from where this is hosted. One of the major benefit I would again say is Red Hat OpenShift. The power of Red Hat OpenShift's manageability and scalability will surpass any other competition in the market. So people might be providing a BPM or a robotic process automation or something else. But from an end-to-end perspective, when you combine Red Hat OpenShift along with the products which you are delivering, like process mining or a RPA, it's lethal actually. You can start very small with our product. So if suppose you wanted to go with a simple IBM RPA platform, you will get an environment, you will get attended bots, you will get unattended bots, and then unlimited developers can perform their bot development activities. Likewise, we have medium configuration and then we have large configuration. So it's very lean entry. If you have a very small use case also, you can use it. If you have a complex use case, we have end-to-end platform for you. Now, I will switch quickly to the demonstration of IBM Process Mining, which I wanted to show it to you. So over here, you can see this is my, so understand process mining is basically a combination of data scientists and people who understand process. So people who are like analysts, people who are like data scientists, people who understand process, they can very well, create their process mining journey. So when we have a process mining journey, we first need a data. So here is an option where you can select the data source files, means the data which has come from the ETL activity, the data which has rows and columns. So that data we want. Once we have the data, we map the data with the various, activities. So over here, you can see different columns: request ID, activity, start date, end date, role, and multiple custom fields are all there. Means around 60 custom fields we can map. Once we have these dimensions mapped, we can see how the process looks like. So it will be plotted to us in this particular model. I'm here talking about one of the banking process. So we have done one banking implementation in Italy, wherein they wanted to close the bank account in a regulatory time frame, but they were not able to do so. So what we did, we employed IBM Process Mining and reduced their timelines. So over here, you can see the darker ones are the activities which are happening most. So for example, you wanted to see that how much, what is the duration of activity which is happening. So over here, you can see the darkest one is BO service closure. So when it is dark, it means that it is taking more time. So around 26 hours, 38 minutes it's taking. Why it is taking so much of time? So first of all, let me tell you so there are multiple things. One is the 4I principle and another is the conformance. These are the two important aspects for process mining journey. So when I say 4I principle, you would say that this process which I designed is having actually 13 variants. It could be more. So I see this process as only one variant when I design it. But in reality, the data speaks that it's having 13 variants. Why these 13 variants are here? So then I will see where is the variation happening. So I will do a conformance check with the actual process and the derived process from the data. And I see that 184 are the cases which are conformant and 35 are non-conformant. Now, if I look at visually over here, you see there are multiple activities like back office adjustment requested and network adjustment requested. These are the activities which were not there in the BPM or the process. Okay, but they eventually came up from the data, means some exception, some rerouting is happening in the system itself. So now we will dig down as why this particular thing is happening. So first, let's see the use case wherein we wanted to see why this BO service closer is taking more time. So we will do some task mining, means the activity which is being performed at that user level. So this particular user who is sitting on this desk and performing this activity, within the process flow of his, there is one activity called payment service closer. It is happening again and again. It's a rework happening over here. So if you see the rework chart, a lot of rework is happening over here. Okay, so this particular thing, if you wanted to overcome, how you will overcome, what you can do in order to carry out, check that how this activity is behaving. So you go to the analytics part of it. You will see that when we record this activity, we actually come to know that in payment service closer, this guy is taking 1 hour 4 minutes in order to do the productive activity, while he is sitting idle for 4 hour 32 minutes. And then other activities, this could be any which we are not recording, he is performing for 8 hour 5 minutes. So this way you can figure out whether you wanted some automation over there or not, how you can arrive at the automation, how you will justify that this is a decision which I want to make. Let's go to the dashboard again once more. And you see these are the various activities which are happening. And these are the key activities which are plotted here by duration wise. And you see there is a graph over here. This graph is actually, it's about the complexity. So suppose I wanted to see that how this will bring in, how I can save the time over here. So I will first of all carry out some sort of simulation. Simulation by putting in the automation level at 55%, and the complexity of my RPA is 3. Means the maximum 3 bots or 2 bots I will employ over here. So over here we have employed the complexity level 3, and let's simulate it once. Once you simulate, you will get to know that earlier it was taking 11 days and 45 minutes kind of a time. Then the estimated lead time has reduced to 7 days. Why? Because we have employed RPA over here, and we have a reasonable justification by providing you the right timelines via the analytics component of process mining, so that you can see and decide how much RPA you wanted to employ. What is the cost saving? What is the regulatory time frame you are saving over here? So going back once more to this, you can also generate a bot. You can also see. You can also generate some sort of a bot script directly via this. Okay. So when you generate the bot, you will get to see this kind of a script. So this is a script because I already recorded these actions, and my developer don't need to put a lot of effort when he carry out this particular bot development activity. So this is about process mining. Then we also get to see as an outcome the refined BPMN chart, like the one which we can again deploy as our process. So this entire discovery of decisions, the BPM, and the the RPA is basically an outcome of IBM Process Mining. We also have few more features like the activity map, means which activity is happening and with which particular role. So whether it is a back office or whether it is a operations team who are doing, then we also get to see what is the social network. When I say social network, it means that the activity which are being performed by a certain role and how he is interlinked. So those kind of things we are doing as part of process mining. So now it is done. I wanted to, Malcolm, are you there?
Yep, we are here.
You can guys, you can put up your questions into the chat box over here. Now I will hand over to another panelist. Okay.
Yes, thank you, Ashwani. I think that was a very good explanations about how actually the RPA and the process works hand in hand together. And Ashwani, I think there's one question here is to you, particularly in the process mining, because I think the user actually has some experience with some of the process mining tool in the market. However, I think he's very interested to see ask is the simulation part, right? You just like you say that, well, in certain step of the process mining, there's a bottleneck, and IBM Process Mining actually can do a simulation using some form of automation tool like RPA. Is this something is very unique to IBM Process Mining?
Yeah, simulation is quite unique, and the task mining things. These are some of the unique features of process mining here in IBM. Other tools also provide technologies based on PROM. PROM is one of the language which they actually used initially to develop process mining tooling, but they don't have very good simulation capabilities. They might be having some sort of adapters with other tools, but they are not necessarily have this kind of simulation, because the reason why they don't have simulation, because they don't have the RPA. Either they are acquiring other companies or they are integrating with other RPA vendors. What we have is an end-to-end thing. So that's why we are able to simulate better.
Yes. And also, I think there's another feedback from the attendee saying that, wow, part of your demo, you showed that after you do the process mining, you actually can, extract some form of the RPA box script, right? And that it says is something very, very cool. Is it something you can elaborate more about this and how actually this will help the user to develop during their bot development?
So typically when you develop a bot, you get to know your actions, that what actions you are performing, and accordingly you drive a script. When we carry out task mining activity as part of process mining, we actually record user actions. So rather than building up from bottom to top, we are coming reverse. So all his actions, once we recorded, we generate the script, the bot script out of his actions. For example, if he has clicked on a calculator and he performed certain steps, we record those actions. So we record that he is opening up a calculator or he's opening up a Excel. So that way it's very quick. Although it's not 100% correct that once the script is there, you can directly plug it into the production. It is for a developer so that he can save his timeline.
Awesome. Can I say that, that is something very cool features that you actually, come up with a very initial step for the developer actually have a quick look and add in all these step by step. How do you create a bot from there? It definitely, I'll see that is like a very time saving for the developer.
Yes.
Awesome. Right. Any more questions on the panelists? If not, then I think that was good. Thank you, Ashwani, for the past 30 minutes. And over to you, Rohi.
Thanks, Malcolm. Thanks, Ashwani. That was a beautiful presentation, and I think the demo was really interesting. So now that we have got a view about process mining, let me just also talk about RPA use cases, the specific industries that are relevant where you can automate. Yep. So RPA is not a platform or a technology. It's just for one industry or one vertical or one department. It can be applied across various departments or various use cases or processes that your business is dealing with. So typical use cases that we usually encounter from our experience and in general are, you could apply for your basic data entry operations, or let's say there's a HR onboarding or data collection or data entry activities that you're dealing with. So typically today you see a lot of manual entry, manual intervention if you are dealing with multiple applications. So take, for example, there's something called invoice automation or finance reconciliation process. So you see a lot of toggling between multiple applications. You need to enter a lot of data, copy paste between different applications, and this keeps increasing the time of producing output. So RPA, what it can do is it is applicable to a variety of industries, so across various verticals. So let's see one use case related to a core banking application. So for example, in terms of reconciliation, let's say there's an account open for a customer. So before an account is approved for a customer, you would have to validate, verify various kinds of information. It could be a data, proof of address, proof of identity. Yeah, the bank has to verify the credit score and a lot of other information before a customer has to be onboarded. So typically you would have a lot of other underlying applications. It could be your core banking, your CRMs or credit systems, right? So when you have to deal with this kind of a reconciliation process, there is obviously a chance of manual intervention. So what RPA could do here is bring in the AI capabilities of RPA, try to bridge the gap of this manual intervention, and it would ease the process of automatically extracting the data. So for example, if there's a proof of address or a PAN card or Aadhaar card or some other document, so you need not actually look at one document and type it into a different application. So we can automate the data entry using OCR, optical character recognition. You can validate the extracted data against other systems or information like your core banking or credit scores. And if everything is clear and fine, once the due diligence is made, the bank can actually proceed to the next step of onboarding the customer. So here, the whole process of this, the integrating between multiple applications, verifying, validating the customer's data is handled by RPA. So which actually improves the faster processing of application, and thereby the customers can be onboarded faster. So that's one typical use case that we've seen. And there are a lot of other use cases, like one example is invoice automation. Today, if you see, every organization, across every vertical, deals with this kind of a problem where there are hundreds and thousands of invoices, purchase orders coming in. And the main challenge is most of these are paper-based. And usually the organizations, in fact, the accounts payable, account receivable teams have to first, assemble all these documents coming in various formats. Like it could be emailed, or they could receive in a mail format or fax. But first thing is, you would have to look at the documents, enter into your ERPs or SAP, and then process it. But what is actually happening is you are doing a manual entry, which could actually lead to a slower cycle of processing the invoices. And obviously your suppliers or your customers might be dissatisfied. So what RPA could do here is all the various kinds of invoices or the documents that you get into your accounts payable department, those can be scanned and then OCR'd. So what the beautiful part of the OCR is from the RPA application is it would extract all the relevant information automatically and feed into a respective systems, which could be your accounting applications or SAP or ERPs, and then verify and validate the data across your internal applications. And then if you see any discrepancies, we can handle those exceptions. Let's say, the PO value of the currency or of the goods provided is different against the invoice. There's a discrepancy, or probably the invoice number is mismatching with what you have. So the discrepancies are handled by rule-driven process in the application itself. And all these are addressed via notifications and emails, so which is all done automatically. So that's a key benefit of RPA, where your data entry, data validations, email automation, sending emails to your respective suppliers, and all of that is handled automatically. At the end of this process, you also have to update your underlying systems. If you want to update your general ledgers or other accounting applications or your database, you can do that by automatically updating or flagging those systems. So that's the interesting part of RPA, where you can automate every aspect of your workflow where there is enough manual intervention, right? So the other interesting aspect of RPA is you can combine the benefits of AI and produce something called Chatbot. I'm sure everyone is aware about Chatbot. So basically, Chatbot is an application, a software application, which would help your customers to have an online conversation instead of probably talking to your live agent, or maybe call up or text them, right? Or instead of walking into your office. So it's actually utilizes AI to have speech to text conversation or text to speech conversation on a chatbot that helps to reduce the wait time for the customers to handle their queries or complaints or requests or anything of that sort, right? So let's see one demo, a quick demo on the chatbot, which is specific to a bank loan application. So let's say I am a customer and I've applied for a loan, and I would actually want to understand the status of my loan application. The status, if it's pending or is it approved, or if there's anything with regards to my application. Instead of calling up the bank or walking into a bank, I wanted to have my request addressed right away at my fingertips on my mobile phone or on the browser, right? So let's see how that happens. So this is the interface of a chatbot, which can be integrated, deployed on, let's say, on the bank's website or on their mobile application as well. So you can have this bot, let's say. So the moment the bot starts, so you can actually hyperlink certain options here, like what is the kind of options that you can insert about the bank services. So we have entered about a loan application. So the bot is asking the customer to first provide with their application number. So you can have this natural interaction happening with the bot, and it would help the customer to address his or her query, right? And the other thing that you could do is here, you can upsell and cross-sell. So if there are other set of services that the bank or the financial organization wants to provide to the customer, let's say there's a vehicle loan or something else, so those upselling requests can also be integrated on the chatbot here, right? So that's the beauty of the chatbot. So it's all easy and convenient for your customers to drive the interaction, right? So yeah, I think this is a certain list of use cases that we have here. So yeah, so feel free to drop in any questions that you have on the chatbot or the Q&A, and we can take it up very soon. Yes, Malcolm.
Yes. Hey, Ruhi, that was a very good showcase about the IBM use cases, and sure. And what our audience hears on the IBM chatbot. I think there's a couple of questions that I see from here. I think NerdPine, like Antai mentions, that we have a long-time relationship with NerdPine driving automation business in India, right? And you guys also have a great experience doing the RPA portion. Maybe and they want to understand, as a beginner, if I would like to start off, the digital transformation beginning with RPA, what would be some of the things that they should consider of?
Absolutely. The first thing that we would have to understand is, from our experience, we go a step back, and when we actually have these conversations with our customers, we conduct these workshops where we understand the easy processes which are very, underperforming or which are inefficient, or there could be a lot of processes. For example, if you look at the invoice automation itself, which includes a lot of data entry, so which are actually can be replaced with automation, right? We need not really enter so much data looking at multiple documents. So we look at those easy areas first, which could be automated, from the first step itself. And then we look at the areas of taking it to the next level. How do we integrate different applications? So we would want to understand their infrastructure, the kind of applications they have, what are the various processes that they have. So all this would give us an understanding of where to start and what is the first step to proceed with their initial automation journey.
Okay, sounds good. Can I just summarize that, in order for the customer to start off first, I think there's a few criteria they have to take in mind, right? First thing, it has to be a structured data, right? So for the RPA to capture the information. And second, it's going to be a repetitive task, the things that you do every single day or every 2 days, right? And the volumes that be, in this process is going to be high, because with a high volume, you actually generate a very good ROI, right? And that is the three main key factors that, for anyone that keen on to start out with the RPA journey. Of course, everybody have ambitions to go end to end, but that was probably take a very long development, and management would like to see a quick ROI of investing ROI. So we always advise to the user or organization, start out with a small process of your whole end-to-end. Get a quick win, show the result, and we can actually expand from there. Does it make sense?
Absolutely, Malcolm. Thank you for expanding the answer. Yeah.
So
great.
Yes, any more? I just want to pause here for we are actually ahead of time. I think we are actually on a good speed today. So let me take a look at if there's any more question here. So yes, Rohit, I think you mentioned about RPA chatbots, right, over here.
Yes.
The question here, is there any additional cost involved? Is there any additional integration is required over here?
No, absolutely no, because there are a lot of other RPA platforms out there, which actually have to, the customers have to spend out money for just, cost for different platform. You would have to pay for RPA versus chatbot versus analytics, right? But with RPA, you just have to spin out a bot, and it's easy to develop a chatbot. So you do not have to pay extra cost for that. So it's very easy. And the best part is you do not have to spend so many hours to develop a chatbot. It hardly takes a few hours instead of, whereas other applications out there, right?
Yeah. So I just want to add on top of that is that, the RPA chatbot is actually a native embedded chatbot within the RPA solution. So it doesn't need to have any more additional integration. It does not need to pay any additional cost. It is part of the package when you buy our one platform solution. The RPA chatbot is actually embedded there, so you have a choice to use it to create. Otherwise, you can always continue with your task automation. I think that is. I hope Rohit and myself answer the questions to you guys. All right, I think cool. I think we have no more questions here. So maybe thank you, Rohit, for walking us through on the use cases and how are the challenges and what are the benefits and what make a good candidate for RPA. So maybe we can proceed to the next topic.
Sure.
Covered by myself.
Yes. So I think we'll have the roundtable discussion. I'll have it the floor open for you, Malcolm, to take it further. Yeah.
So thank you. So thank you for everybody joining today's sessions and hanging out with us for the past 1 hour session here. So beginning of the sessions, Untitled spoke about IBM as a cloud pack for business automations, providing the hyper automations for client end to end. RPA and process mining is just one beginning part of the automation journey. All right. And Ashwani further add in on to the process mining with some great, fantastic demo, walk you through the fundamental behind the process mining with the simulations of the RPA and get the result at the end of it, right? And Rohit actually walk you guys through on the use cases. Now, is always one way of communications from us to you. But right now, I just want to have a roundtable discussions. Of course, we are not sitting in the same event right now, but we on the virtual. But this is where you can see there's a chat box underneath the Zoom. You can actually, post your answer or post your feedback, your thought for the next 3 questions that I'm going to share with you guys. Rohit, go ahead for the next slide. Right. Go on. Okay, so the number one questions, the $1 million question here is, right? We heard about RPA and process mining, but for RPA, what actually determine which are the process is a good candidate to beginning your automations journey, right? You have a account payable, account receivable, HR onboarding, but what actually make that process a good, suitable candidate to do automation? And I would like to pause here for a while for you guys to leverage on the chat box, key in your thought over here, right? I'm going to wait for probably about 30 seconds over here. Okay, feel free to submit your thought and your feedback. What make a good candidate of a process to be automated? Yep. Sounds good. We'll see a couple of feedback over here. Okay, good. Awesome. Yes, that's right. I see some very good answer over here. Yes, that's right. Okay, I see a couple of good answer and feedback over here. So Arohi, can we just review the $1 million question? All right, so here, this is the 4 key things that you need to remember. If you would like to say or go back today after and explain to your organization, your technologies managers, your CIO, or your transformations managers, right? And definitely you have to explain and educate them what made a good candidate for automation. First, remember there's 4 points. Number 1, RPA work with structured data, right? But what about invoices that in a PDF format, which is a semi and unstructured data, right? Don't worry about that, because as what Ashwani have explained, IBM RPA solution has an OCR capability to convert the unstructured data, become a structured data, and save either a CSV file or Excel file for the RPA to continue the rest of the journey, right? Like, whether it's going to be a humans doing a job or a robot is going to do the job, it needs to have a rules to obey, right? There's this SOP to follow. If today I am a loan application executive to approve the loan, my instruction is anything that above 5,000 at my level, I cannot approve. I need to escalate to my manager. So this is a business rule applied over here. A third number rules is it has to be a good high volume, right? A volume from compared to 10 compared to 1,000, because the more volume, the more time you're going to save. And this will generate a very good ROI, right? FTE stand for full-time employee, right? So example, like account payable, I probably have 3 designated full-time employees to do the job. But when we implement the RPA, it's only reduced to 1 FTE to do the job. And that particular FTE is not doing the job. It's actually doing the validation portion, right? What happened to the 2 more FTE? That is the parts that the organizations can transfer these resources of 2 FTE to another process or another job to add value to the organization, right? And the last part, yes, I think a lot of people's attendees have come about this answer: repetitive tasks. Absolutely. Every company have a finance department. Company have to do AR, AP, and reconciliation every single day, right? This is a task that you need to do without fear, right? So if we can actually do this repetitive task, the huge impact and the result will be phenomenal to the organization, right? Remember this 4 points: structure, rule-based, high volume, and repetitive. Okay, so let's go to the second $1 million question here. As an organization, if today we're happy, we want to implement RPA, but how can we drive governance? How does the IT department that manage the IT RPA to manage the RPA as a governor? Because we need to track and monitor from here. Again, I will just pause for about another 30 seconds over here feel free to send your thought and your feedback and your answer into the chat box. How do you govern? Right? Every organization, whether you are doing some security system, right, applications or software or ERP system, how do you actually govern all these applications and software within your organization? That is one of the key things that, you know, the head of security have to focus. It's good seeing a couple of answers coming up. Yes. Awesome. Right. So let's review the answer, Rohit. So again, go ahead. Now. Okay, pause here for a while. Pause here for a while. Okay, good. Let's go back one step backward. Okay. Slowly. Okay, Rohit, show me the one platform. Click one click.
Yep.
Okay, that's good. And click one more. Okay, good. Here, so IBM, we offer to our customers as a one platform solution. It's one package, right? And we really, based on our experience, we realized and we found that this package of solution, it will help organization actually to start to run at least 2 processes, right, when they start the journey. And one of the components inside this RPA platform, you know about attended bot and unattended bot, right? You know about the tool, the studio environment. Environment is a place like a control room, right? So today, if my IT department is going to install the RPA within my organization, first thing they need to install the environment. Environment is just like a control center that for the IT to manage the license, how many attended bots I have. And if today Rohit is the developer, I will give Rohit the role of the developer license and guideline and authority. So Rohit's job is to develop the RPA bot. He is not supposed to deploy the bot. After he had created a bot, he uploads to the environment. And I am the IT department to manage the RPA, and I have the rights to run the bot. I do not have the rights to do editing of the bot. So my role is to run and trigger the bot to run. So with that control, with that environment, control center, the organization is able to manage, control, and monitor how the RPA run in the environment. Okay, so how to govern it? We have an environment to run, track, and monitor how the bot is being run here. The next one, the last $1 million question, Rohit. Okay, now we first of all start out with how to identify which are the processes good to do RPAs, right? How do you do automation? Second, how do we govern it? And come to the later part of the journey, probably 6 to 12 months time. You know, you are happy because you first launched the RPA in the procurement department. And as the CIO, you say that, wow, it achieved so much. I want it to, you know, share across my organization. I want everybody to understand what is the benefit of RPA and participate, you know, getting more process in the RPA in my organization. How can I do that? How do you scale the RPA in your organization? If today you are just using one bot or 2 bots to run in the finance side, right? I'll pause here for a while. Okay, and this is going to be my last questions before we actually go for a quick break. You know, we have been here for almost like 1 hour and 10 minutes. All right, Rohit, go ahead with the next question. Answer.
Next answer, yep.
Yep. One click.
Yep.
Okay, let's pause here for a while. So here, as I explained just now, IBM had one platform solution. And solution, we talk about the environment. Now, over here, you can see the blue highlight, Unlimited Studio. Okay, first of all, talk about Studio. Studio is a tool that developer use that to create a bot, to automate a process. And that is what we call a studio. And from that, we do not restrict the number of studio license. IBM, we provide unlimited usage of studio license, right? Today, if I do not rely on other third party to do the implementation RPA, I learn myself. I have a developer of team of 10. They learn and they can use it. 10 developer, we give you 10 developer license. After that, when you implement, you say, wow, hey, that's good. I have another 5 more department, 50 business user. I want to educate this business user. I want to train them. I want to show them the power of RPA. You can actually, as IT administrative, go to the environment to issue another 50 developer studio license to your business partner, your business user, to hands-on and create a bot. With that, we are trying to advocate the usage of the RPA, right, within the organization. And this will actually help you to scale the adoption of the RPA, right? So that is the answer for that. Okay, Rohit, go to the next slide. Okay, go ahead now, Mike. Okay, sorry. We have one more question. Bear with me.
Yeah.
I think this is the last $1 million question. And when Untitled, in the beginning of the presentation, he talked about end-to-end automations, the cloud pack for business automation here. So what does it mean, right? End-to-end. Let's go to the answer. The next slide, Rohit. Yes, one click over here. Now you can see here, this is what Ashwani, go back one more. Okay, now you can see Ashwani and Rohit keep talking about RPA. You know, we have the OCR usage, we have unlimited studio, we have the environment to control and schedule the bot, whether it be attended bot or unattended bot. And we have our third bot here is the chatbots, right? This is what our unique offering over here. But RPA only limited to do certain tasks in the automation space. It cannot cater end-to-end. IBM is not just focusing on RPA. It's one of the components in our whole full suite of automations too, right? In order for us to actually provide end-to-end to the customer, especially in the very enterprise complex, example, insurance claim. So many steps to go through. We need to have a workflow to implement. Rohit, the next slide. Next, just click. So here, IBM are the only vendor in the market. We are able to cater end-to-end, right? Process mining help you identify which are the good process. RPA achieve a quick win. And the third part to scale, we have the capture, we have the content management, workflow, decision, and of course our IBM Watson solution over here. In the whole things, all you need to do is one vendor that you should work with. Doesn't need to go through different multiple vendor, do integration. IBM is the only one vendor in the market to provide you the whole solution from here. So that is where we're able to scale to hyper automation end-to-end. Right? Rohit, next slide.
Yeah, so awesome.
Yeah, so this is a few use cases that I mentioned, how RPA over here, RPA work with workflow, hand in hand to automate, you know, the claim processes use case over here. Next one. If your organization is doing a lot of invoices, unstructured documents, different format, about 40 or 50, we have the data capture are smart enough with the AI and ML, actually speed up, identify where is all the key informations, understand the template pattern, capture this information, let RPA continue the rest of the journey. Next one. And lastly, we have the decision, right? Customers come in, RPA, get all the information, go into the decisions tool over here, make the right judgment, and continue, let RPA transfer the information from A into the ERP system. So over here, you're seeing the whole automation is not just revolved in RPA, it's together with decision, right? Next slide. Okay, so just before you guys go for a quick break, I think most of you are probably at home because we are working from home of the COVID challenges. Can I ask everybody over here? We have more than about 40 to 50 attendees right now. Take out your mobile phone and scan this QR code. Right, it's going to be a very awesome things that we're going to show you after we come back from the break. So please open up, take out a smartphone, right? Scan the QR code, click onto the link. It actually links you to a Google document form. What we want here is that, you know, fill in your name, your email address, and select which are the specific industry you think that you are keen to understand more about automation, right? It can be a healthcare, life science, oil and gas, automotive. Click on the industry, only one industry that you're key in. And the last part here is that, can you just just click one of the use cases that you're interested in. From finance, you have reconciliation, you have chatbots on the hotel reservations, you have if you are more in the IT, how can RPA work with the network diagnosis, right? And if you are in the health and care sector, especially in the manufacturing, you want to understand the use case of vendor creation process. Click on that and submit the form, right? Just do that. Scan, key in your name, your email address, and select the industry and the use case that you're key in. So Rohi and the team, how was the response so far?
Yeah, so we're getting in a lot of responses. We see already a good number of customers submitting their responses and interesting use cases already.
Okay,
yeah.
Good. So we will just hold on first. So guys, before you actually go for a quick break, get a sip of coffee and the tea, right? Scan and key in. And I'm sure that the effort that you're going to do for this, for the next 15 seconds, we will surprise you after when you come back after the break. Right? Good. We see the good numbers coming up. Can you guys just scan? Do us a favor, scan the QR code, put your name, your email address, pick the industry that you like, and the use case that you're interested in. And for those of you who already went for submitted, feel free to go for a quick breaks. We are coming back about 2 more minutes, right? Okay, good. We have a good number over here. Continue, guys. You know, I'm not going to sell you anything. I'm not going to send you anything that, you know, tons of things, informations, but I will give you a surprise. But all you need to do is to scan, fill in the name, your email address, the industry that you are key in, and also the use case. Awesome, awesome. We'll see the numbers get going on. That's good. So for those who already have scanned and submitted, let's take a 2 minutes break from now. For those, we leave the QR code on the screen, right? And continue. If you could, please scan the QR code, submit the information to us. Awesome. Awesome. As I know, the team has responded me a good number over here. So I will just pause here for a while. For those of you who already completed, and you know, go for a break. We'll come back in about 1.5 minutes time.
Yeah, I see some people are still submitting, Malcolm.
Yep. Yep. So it's good. Oh, the number is going up again.
Yes.
So guys, I can 100% assure you that you will see the surprise after you come in from the break. If you actually scan, put your name, your email address, select the use case and industry, and submit from there. All right. It's good. The number is good. All right. I think we got a good number, Rohit and the team.
Yes, Malcolm.
Okay. Rohit, can we go to the next slide?
Sure. Yeah.
All right, guys. Take a break. Slide. All right. Me myself are going to take a break, have a sip of coffee. All right, we just have to count down another 1 more minutes before we continue for the break. All right, Rohit, I think we are good. I think most of them are back from the break. I can see from the chat box, they are back here.
Yes, Malcolm.
Okay, thank you. Can we go to the next slide, Rohit, please?
Yes. Yeah.
So Rohit, by the way, can you see my video?
I can. Yeah.
Okay, good. So can we go to the next slide here, Rohit? Okay, again, thank you guys for sending the QR codes with the information submitted, and as promised, right? We're going to do a surprise review over here. So we have been spending about past hour just to talk about RPA demo video, show you, but the only things that is lack of is experience the RPA yourself, right? And this is, we cannot do it by just presenting. Now, what happened here? Rohit, go to the next slide. So here, pause here. So I'm sure that, in your organization, you have conduct some of the marketing event or presentation, right? So on the presentation, those people that participate in the event, you have the customer details because they join, they sign in. And what happened at the end of the event, you want to share with your customers some of the material presented, right? You want to nurture this leads become an opportunity. What you need to do is theoretically is very manually, a sales op will review the customer detail, right? Filter out where are they from, which are the industry, and have the inside sale to do the filtering, put the information into the CRM system manually, right? And extract that information so that the team can actually further to connect or contact with the customer, the prospect. But here, we're going to take away the human loop. Rohit, next one, tap. Okay, you can see here, the front portion, the customer detail. What we are doing just now is that as a participant, you scan the QR code, you submit the Google form sheet. And this information actually go back to our database, right? Our database, and we actually create a RPA email bot. So the moment you have submitted, the RPA was triggered because this information is inside the Excel sheet. RPA go into this Excel sheet, pick up Malcolm's name, Malcolm email address, open up an email application, put in all this information. At the same time, you guys have select the types of industry. You guys have select the type of use case. So the RPA will go to the individual category, put out the attachment, attach onto the email, and send it to you. And in the whole journey, there's no human is doing the step-by-step. All we need to do is to have someone to trigger the bot. In this case, we are using an attendant bot here. So this is what is being done. So for those of you who have submitted the QR code, please go to your mailbox, take a look. Have you received an email from NerdPine, right? You can check through your laptop or your mobile phone. So for that, Rohit, can you just open up your screen with the email that you actually received from the customer?
Yes.
Rohit?
Yeah, let me open my email. Yeah. Just a moment. I'm just opening the email. There's several emails that I've got, so I'm just trying to put one up. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So guys, take a look here. So in here, we have a participant called Joseph. Joseph have submit the information, right? So the RPA bot will actually, we actually have a pre-built content of the email, right? The moment is Joseph key the name will go to the email content, dear Joseph, right? At the same time, attach the email address. The next thing here is that we actually attach the kind of use case that Joseph actually click on, right? I can receive a couple of more. So now you can see that if you have an inside sales team, you have a marketing team, you can easily leverage and create one bot to do this kind of follow-up email to your customer. And the email bot, it can be replicated for different events. This will actually help you to respond fast to your customer. So this is how RPA actually work from here, right? And maybe some of you will say, well, Malcolm, are you sure this is an RPA bot that was created? You guys created a bot script, or you actually have someone, a team of 10 or 20 behind the scene trying to type the email and send to the user? No. So for that portion, what I'm going to do is we will go behind the scene and let the NerdPine, because NerdPine, their technical team actually created this bot script. They came out with this idea. They says, Malcolm, let's do this. I want to wow our audience with our crazy idea of creating this email bot here. So NerdPine teams actually using our IBM RPA solution, create this bot script, and I will let the team here to walk you through another 3 to 5 minutes how they actually create a bot script and what do you mean by a low code and no code environment. Over to you, NerdPine team.
Yeah, thanks, Malcolm. I think we have got a good number of emails that are sent to the customers, to our participants here. So I'll leave the floor to Sudakshana, who's a technical engineer on RPA. So who would be able to run the session on the environment, RPA environment. Yes, Sudakshana.
Yeah, thank you, Rohit.
You would have to put your screen.
Yes, I will. Thank you. So I'm sharing my screen, and I hope you can see my screen now.
Yes, thank you.
So, yes, thank you. So this is the window from where we did the automation, and this is where from we actually created the script, and this was created previously for this demo. And the email that has been sent is based on these commands that you see right now in this window. So you see there is no coding involved. There are some things written which are called commands, and they are absolutely drag and drop. So when I say drag and drop, I would ask you to look into this left hand side panel that we have, the toolbox. And if I want to just simply say open an Excel sheet maybe. So what I do, I'll just type Excel, and you see all the commands related to Excel comes in here. And I see open Excel file. I'll just click and drop it here. It's that simple. You just click and drop, and you see the path and everything, every parameter in here. We just fill in it up, and we'll get the result. So just this way, I created this. It took me not more than 1.5 hours to create this bot. And yeah, it just sent out the emails in, I think we took the break for 2 or 3 minutes. It took me 1 minute to send out a lot of emails. So yes, this is exactly what Malcolm just said, that it's a low code, no code environment. And this is the behind the scenes.
Yes. So thank you, Shadab, on that area. Can I ask you a question? Because I see some question post up to say, when we say about low code and no code environment, how long they actually for you, to learn about this RPA tool over here with all this command. And I believe that you went through some online training, and I also believe that you have some deep dive sessions with the IBM teams to learn. So maybe for you to share how do you feel, how long does it take to master the skill set of the developing of the bot itself?
Okay, Malcolm. So honestly, once I have the access to IBM RPA Studio, it is totally a self-learning, and it won't take much time. It is, everything is there. As I just said, you see there is a toolbox. And if I have something in my mind, maybe a message box, I want to show some message box, I'll just type in message, and I will get whatever I want. And I'll see, okay, there is a command which I can use. And when I just drag and drop, maybe I have here, tooltip over text. When I click on them, I have elaborate IBM documentation on what exactly this field is.
Wow.
And it wouldn't take not like much time to identify what to do and what is the next step. We just have to clear our minds with the logic, what exactly we want to achieve through this bot, and then I think we are done. Yeah.
Yes, you absolutely knew it right, because I think the most important is what do you want to achieve at the end of the bot script, and the logics behind it, and the business rule required over here. And of course, you yourself as a developer background, of course, it doesn't go through the hard days of hard coding right now, right? I can see your smile. As a business partner myself here, I'm not a technical, but when I try to get my hands dirty and play with it, it actually, my worry is too much, because I find that a couple of help on all the explanation, it actually can help me to quickly create a simple bot from here. So that is where I can see how organization that have a development team, they actually have a very good learning curve to pick up the skill set from here. Thank you so much for that. Over to you, Rohit.
Yes, Malcolm. I think, we are able to see how easy it is to develop the bots. Even for a first time, a beginner, it's so easy giving the low code and no code environment, right? Because we leverage I think we have close to 600 plus commands, drag and drop, that can be drag and dropped into the console to develop the bots. So yeah, I think we're almost just about time. I have a couple more slides to present, and then I think we should be done. Let me present my screen again. Can you see my screen, Malcolm?
Yes, I could. Thank you.
Okay, great. So I think so. Now, if you have to summarize, we were able to see, an environment on RPA, how easy it is to create the bots. So we were talking about a surprise for all the attendees. So as part of the workshop, as part of this session, for all the attendees who have joined today on this webinar, so we will be offering a free workshop, a process discovery workshop, which would help us to, understand your business, the kind of high volume, repetitive processes that your business is dealing with. And we could also help you in terms of identifying those easy processes to start with and which can be automated. And we can expand to a better automation stage, right? So we suggest to make use of this workshop, and this would be of really help to all the attendees, right? Yes, Malcolm.
Yes, good. I see a couple of questions here. Is that, hey, because of the pandemics, we are not able to have a face-to-face. Is it possible to do a remote session on this area?
Absolutely, Malcolm. Yeah, because our offices are there in India and other geographies as well. If there's a customer in our vicinity, in our location, then we can definitely do a walk-in to the customer's place. But otherwise, we're flexible to a virtual workshop as well. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. Go ahead, Rohit.
Yeah. So I think, yeah. Yeah, so on the workshops to all the attendees, so it's not just one geography or location. So IBM and us, we've partnered, and IBM has also done several workshops of these kinds. A process discovery workshop. So it's easy, and we bring in the technical experts, the process experts, and the subject matter experts who are well versed with your processes. And if it's a banking, we come with a banking experts or a specific process related domain experts, to make sure you are making making the most of this workshop, right?
Yeah. So Rohit, there's one more slide, right, on the hands-on workshop.
This is it. Yeah.
Okay, this is it. Okay.
This is it. Yeah.
Okay. So is it possible for me to share my screen here?
Yes.
Okay, good. I would like to share the screen here. Okay, guys, you can see my screen.
Yes, Malcolm.
Okay, so apart from the discovery workshop over here, we also like to offer a free regular hands-on sessions to any of the client here. If you think that, well, in my organization and IT, I have a team of 10 developers, and I would like to actually, create and implement the bot ourselves without any third party or services. Yes, feel free to come and reach out to us, NerdPine and IBM. We actually conduct a free hands-on workshop, right? At the beginning of your RPA journey, you might say that, well, while my team is trying to scale up the RPA skill set, right? I would like NerdPine to do the services for us, implement the bot. But in the long run, if you think that there are certain bots that I need to do some modification because of the business requirement change, feel free to have your guys to let us know. Yes, I want my guys to be trained. We have a very good syllabus of online training and badges to obtain, guide you step by step as a developer to understand how all the component in the RPA, how it works, and create a bot, right? And then after you complete that, we can actually offer you a free hands-on workshop to get your hands dirty. We'll give you a few exercises to your team to do and guide them. So our outcome, you will have a fundamental skill set is able to create a bot or modify the bot in your organization, right? This is what we have been doing with our business partner throughout the years. So over to you, Rohit.
Yeah. Yes, Malcolm. So I think this is it. So we are done with all the information that we are supposed to share. So if you have any more questions from the attendees, we can take them. Malcolm?
Yeah, I think we have quite good. I think we are all clear. Yes, thank you for feedback. It was a great session and a demo. and also the behind scene was a surprise to you guys. So again, there are some of the audience that say, well, I missed out the QR code. Rohit, is it okay for you to show the slide of the QR code again? So
Sure.
I think some of them might be, you know, just, miss out this QR code and they say, wow, I missed out that. Can I do a scanning of that? Yeah.
Let me flash the screen again. Yeah.
Cool. All right. So I think for those of you who would like to continue to scan and experience the RPA behind the scene, you know, with our email bots that's sending you the email according to your selected use case and industry, feel free to do so. So with that, we are going to leave the QR code scan slide over here. And thank you very, very much for you to take your time to participate for today's event. For those of you who would like to find out more, feel free to drop an email or contact NerdPine, Rohit, and the team. We'll definitely come back to you. You know, how can we help you on your digital transformation journey, right? Thank you so much. Rohit, anything you want to add on?
No, I think we are good. We are excited that, you know, we've got so many, interested participants join this session, and we hope that they were having this session as incited. And so we're happy that we could be able to help the participants today, and we'll reach out to them very soon. Yeah.
All right. So for that, everybody be safe, take care of yourself. We're going to leave the QR code, going to be another 2 to 3 minutes for those people. We are seeing people are sending in. We got the notification. Apart from that, if those of you, thank you so much for joining today's session. Thank you very much. And the session will be closed in about 2 to 3 minutes time. So seize the opportunity, scan the QR code, submit your information and your request to us. Thank you so much.
Sure. Thank you. Thanks everyone for joining. Thanks Malcolm and everyone at IBM. Have a good day.
Yeah, thank you everyone.